Don't take offense to this, gentlemen. You guys are born with the gift of entitlement as a man, right? We celebrate you on a daily basis. I'm a woman every single day, and I want to be treated as such, you know? So I'm trying to create a culture that does that as well.
Yeah.
I know, that deep stuff, sorry.
No. She just put you guys on blast.
Today's episode is brought to you by the FMA Annual Meeting. The industry's largest networking event heads to Las Vegas February 28th
through March 2nd.
It's your opportunity to connect with executives and leaders in metal fabrication, steel production and distribution, service centers, and so much more. Hear from experts on trending industry topics and the insights you need to drive decisions. And remember, what happens in Vegas takes your business further. Register today for the 2023 FMA Annual Meeting at fmamfg.org.
What was that again?
That's fmamfg.org.
Hello, Dan Davis, editor-in-chief of Fabricator Magazine, joined by Jim Gorzik, also the Fabricator Magazine. We're going to have a conversation today with Tiffany Orff.
Von Orff.
Man. Wow. Never can get it right. Yeah. Welding Women Syndicate, which sounds kind of intimidating, to be honest.
She's based out of California.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So really great conversation and arguably one of the funniest moments of this series to date, where she actually poses a very direct question to me. But Tiffany got her start in a fab shop doing a little bit of everything, but also some automotive stuff.
Right.
And they just got me to thinking in terms of, like, if you won the lottery, is your first go-to like a new car or like something that's vintage or even something maybe modified that may not be considered vintage? You mentioned a Nissan Pulsar.
Yeah, I think
we start.
let's. I'm gonna answer that with the second part first and say non-vintage would be to like pimp out a Nissan Pulsar.
But see, that suggests, like, anybody remembers that series, you're not exactly, you're not going to put in like a bar in the backseat of a Nissan Pulsar, are you?
Well, there's no room, but right, you probably could not. So I'd probably have to flip that coin and go with something new, but old. Yeah. Like maybe not a redone Ford Bronco, but one of the originals.
Oh, yeah. No, I
like,
yeah.
Not an OJ Ford Bronco either?
Earlier. Let's go
even
earlier.
Like,
yeah,
like
the
OG.
70s. Yes.
OG. Gotcha.
Exactly.
That's pretty sweet. That's honestly a pretty decent choice.
Kind of a squared off vehicle, sharp, raise it up a little bit.
I had a friend that had his parents had owned an International Harvester, like one of those first generations of what we would now consider a SUV.
No. It's my grandpa had one. It's an International Travelall.
Travelall, that's exactly
the Harvester
it. That's a Travelall.
is actually a farm implement.
Jeez. Yeah, he had a combine in his
knew
driveway.
His favorite pen was
the Travelall
combine. The best story was, though,
Yes.
this thing just sat in his driveway for years, and by this time we were at Louisiana State University, and he was talking about what he did that weekend, and he went to go like do some work on the actual truck, and he lifted up the hood, and there was a family of possums.
That's about right.
Terrifying.
He never went. He didn't go back. But it brought it to mind when you were talking about doing an older car like that. Is he now? He lives now in north of Atlanta. I forget the name of the town, but he actually has a Travelall. I saw it on social media, and I'm guessing it's just sitting in his driveway, hopefully not being
I was just gonna say,
inhabited by possums or anything.
Did they make the trip?
Yeah, but you got it. I mean, to do it yourself, I mean, that takes a little bit of commitment. And he's got a 6-year-old. I don't know how he's doing it, but whatever. But yeah, I think something along that lines would appeal to me.
Yeah.
Gareth, you got any automotive desires?
Not really. I'm not much of a car guy. I would almost just get rid of the idea of having a car altogether and just buy
a chauffeur.
Driving Mr. Schleck.
Yeah, I'd get Jeeves to drive me around.
You should get one of those
I'd
suicide doors, like an old school Lincoln.
Oh yes.
I'd probably buy like an old RV and deck it out and
an old RV. Oh, okay.
sell my house and just hit the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
I would go the opposite direction of having millions of dollars.
Wow.
Yeah.
So would you spend money if you had? It's always for me like what level? Like if we're talking lottery, 150 million, you win that, you take the lump sum cash
After taxes.
It's probably, I imagine it's only
35 million,
whatever.
roughly, something.
So I mean it's life changing, no doubt. But you're going to give away some of that. Do you think the purchase of a car, like the thing that comes to mind, is a Lamborghini SUV that was just recently
Seems like an inconvenience.
$250,000 for something that looks like a Big Mac?
No, you'd be
Yeah.
so. I mean, you'd have enough cash to like not have to worry about, damaging it. But I would worry about that.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
You have to
Yeah,
buy
where
like
do
a
you-
separate garage.
yeah,
for
where do you
it
park
and
it?
just, Yeah,
Right? You go to the store.
just it feels.
Well,
too
your
excessive.
driver would drive it, of course.
What do you think?
My driver, yeah.
What do you think of the concept of luxury SUVs to begin with?
Yeah,
It's kind of silly, right?
yeah, it's waste.
Yeah. They got regular SUVs that are just fine.
Yeah, just get the old Bronco.
There you go. Or a new one. Because
Or a
you'd
new
have the
one.
money to do it.
It's true.
One of each.
I'm kind of interested in learning why the Pulsar reference. Did you own one? When
I
you were
did.
younger?
That was the first vehicle I purchased.
Oh,
Really?
There you
Yeah,
go.
it
Was that a 2-seater?
No, there were 4 cloth seats.
When I first
Very, very barren.
I'm trying to think. When I first started this job, one of the first stories I did was on this kid that was using a plasma table to cut aftermarket parts for a Nissan, like 260. Does that sound about right?
Is that sports car? Or
Yeah,
this
yeah, it was like a-
Nissan
It's like a
300
2-seater. No, that's the really like high end. This is more of like
okay.
I won't call it entry level, mid level maybe.
Yeah.
But while he was in the Marines in Japan, he became interested in like tuning these things up. And like before you know it, it's like many things in this industry. When you start talking with somebody, you realize like, well, damn, there's a huge like market.
Right.
involved. So,
Right.
like he kind of fell into.
That'd actually be a good conversation starter with anyone who's listening. Send us like your weirdest aftermarket or like car project you ever worked on.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear.
Yeah,
We'd
love
love
to
to
see
see
those.
And we
Yeah.
had chatted about doing something like this on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So if you do have
Yeah.
car related, anything related, let us know.
Yeah.
Send it in.
Yeah,
And,
email. If you're watching this, Brandon will put our email addresses at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right.
Or maybe just mine if you guys want to be bothered by it.
Yeah. We were supposed to bring this up earlier, but of course we forgot. So.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, you'll enjoy this conversation with Tiffany, and thanks for tuning in. The Fabricator Podcast is presented by Nuts, Bolts, and Thingamajigs. As the foundation of the Fabricators and Manufacturers Association, NBT is helping the next generation discover their future across the country in manufacturing through hands-on camps and scholarship programs. You can invest in tomorrow's workforce by visiting nutsandboltsfoundation.org. One more time, nutsandbolts.org. Hello, Dan Davis here from the Fabricator Magazine. We're joined today by Tiffany, and help me with the name.
Tiffany Orff.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a middle name?
No, Tiffany Noel Orff, if you want to
That's
get
what
completely formal, and I
There you
usually
go.
do prefer it.
Yeah.
I'm a
That's
whole
why
woman,
I
my
asked.
friends.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I got that straight.
Absolutely.
So yeah, your name's interesting. You have
Tiffany.
Dutch ancestry. Is that
German.
German?
German.
Okay.
Well, German and Spain. So,
Two very nice places.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Sehr gut.
So you're
Yeah.
in a very good place right now. You want to tell us about your award?
Oh, we're going right to
Yes.
the award. All right. So I won the WEMCO award from the American Welding Society. We were nominated for the media category, and we won it. So what it is the company who is providing excellence in the welding industry, and we won it for Welding Women Syndicate.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Now, can you
Yeah.
tell us about the syndicate?
Okay, so the Welding Women Syndicate was originally formed as an online platform that celebrated and supported and provided resources for women in the welding industry. And basically, what it was is throughout my 13-year career, I really didn't see too many women when I first started out, aside from Jessie Combs. And literally, I saw her on TV. She was standing on the side of a car, and I had to go back to work because I co-owned a suspension shop at the time.
Right.
So I was like right on,
Yeah.
and I had to go right back to work. And then I literally did not work with anybody until I actually got formal training in college, which was like 8 years later in Arkansas. I've skipped around all over the country. So
Yeah.
this started in California, now we're in Arkansas.
Right.
And then I end up working an air gas contract with another woman, right? And then up until recently with the forming of the syndicate, I literally hadn't worked with any women. So I have a CFO who's a woman, which is Veronica Prado.
Hello.
I have a woman
Veronica's
apprentice
here.
in the shop, 19 years old. I have women students in my shop. Almost everybody's women. So I created what I didn't have. And that was the whole point of creating the syndicate, is to just find more women in the industry, a more mindful space, something I just did not have. So I created it because I was waiting for somebody
Yeah.
to provide it for us.
So why is that important, just in terms of,
we
from
are-
your perspective?
Okay, so just being a woman in the industry, we're between 4 and 6% of a male-dominated industry, and you are looked upon as less. And I'll never accept that, clearly, because I got the damn award now.
Yes.
So you're never going to be able to. And even before, I'm very strong-willed, right? And I just never believed that. I just wanted to be able to talk to another woman, and them not looking at me like I was crazy, because I'm talking about, welding processes or wire speed, or and a lot of women just don't have that. And now we've created a whole revolution of women all across the world that they know what we're talking about. And now we've even become more inclusive. So if you don't know about welding, I'm going to speak to you in a way that brings you in so that
Right.
you want to learn more.
Yeah.
I just want more women in it. I want it to become less of a novelty for us and more of a normalized idea.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, the industry needs it.
Absolutely.
Right.
they
Yeah.
do.
Right.
Yeah, clearly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the people are seeking out companies that are doing this because they can't do it.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We formed it.
So what's the mix of people who are reaching out to you? Are they people in the workplace that they're glad they have this outlet?
Oh,
Are they
absolutely.
interested in entering
From major
that type of sector?
welding companies. I don't want to say it yet.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Breaking all kind of news.
There may be big news, but I
Big
mean,
news.
just from local companies like our welding gas companies,
Yeah.
our local Valley Fabrication. They're the people who provide our welding metal. Schools all over the country. How
Right.
do you do what you're doing? I said, well, treat me like I'm human.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I just want
Yeah.
to be able to do my job like everybody else.
Right.
So basically, a lot of educational facilities, or just people who want to try. We make it. I don't know if we make it look cool or we make it look normal or it's accessible.
Yeah.
It's everybody. It's men. It's women. It's organizations. Right now, the majority of it is just like middle-aged women.
Yeah.
We want to change our career. We want to do what you're doing.
Okay.
And I provided now, with the Welding Women Syndicate, we've basically evolved to now an online, or not, from online to an in-present facility. I have a
Yeah.
5,000 square foot facility, hot rod shop, welding school. So everybody that comes in, they see it's woman run. There's women there. There's women learning. There's women working. And they feel comfortable and they want to do what we do. So that's
Yeah.
what I wanted when I first joined this industry. I wanted to be included,
Right.
acknowledged, like I want to be taught. I wasn't taught formally. That's why I had to go to college,
Yeah.
Like I was basically handed a MIG gun and say, here, do it. And I wanted more.
Right. Right.
So I just provided what I was lacking when I came up through the years.
So industry, obviously, you want more women in it.
Sure.
You've been around men your whole life.
Sure.
What are some of the negatives that made it difficult for you to feel that kind of sense of inclusion throughout your career?
Obstacles, maybe.
I mean, I've been a business owner for over 25 years.
So in a way, yeah.
So a little bit different for me. But so one of the things that really bothered me is when I had my suspension shop, people would call me and literally ask for the owner. And I would tell them, you're speaking to.
Right.
No, let me speak to the man. And I was like, excuse me, let me tell you what you need right now. And they would tell me what car and, make, model, and year they
Right.
have. And I would tell them the design and make for an FBSS system,
Yeah.
which is custom suspension. And then they'd back down a little bit because I'd blow their minds because they don't even know what the hell
Yeah.
I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So that was really rough in the beginning because people look at women like they're supposed to be the secretary
Right.
or the cashier. And I said, no, bitch, I own the company. I design the suspension. I cycle the suspension.
Right,
I'm
right.
welding on the cars, And then they'd come into the shop and realize, but even after that, I was like, I'll be damned if you tell me, I was a single mom at the age of 17.
Right.
And so once you get past that,
Yeah.
there's not really much anybody can tell you. And I
Yeah.
refused because I loved it. I absolutely loved the industry and you are not going to push me out.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of societal type
it
thing we're
is.
talking
And I
about.
think if you just don't stand up for yourself, you're going to get kicked out. And I
Yeah.
got a really thick skin, and you really kind of do have to, but then you also have to learn to partner up with very supportive people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It took a long time, let me tell you. I've been doing a lot of things on my own for quite a many years. Now it seems like every door I open is just the most fantastic opportunity or people or organization that supports, which is fantastic. It only took 13 years.
Yeah.
But,
And
that's okay. 13
Yeah.
more years of fantastic, right?
Do you think that, and maybe it's a combination of both, that society is getting a little bit better, or that people just know you from your prior successes and being a little bit more well known of entity?
To be quite honest, I think it's just a trend right now. And I think that we need companies like myself to continue the trend so we're not just a monthly hashtag.
Right,
So
okay.
I've provided women in the spotlight every day for the past 2 years. And not only for the past 2 years, but for the past 13 years, right? And now it's just become even more grandiose because of social media. We have all these magnificent platforms, YouTube, LinkedIn, to basically cater to all the different forms of the welding industry, the business, the celebrity, the YouTubers. I am on all of them. Don't play, you know what I mean? Like, I got them all covered. And then I talk to people from all over the world, and I treat them like they're human, the way I would like to be treated.
Right.
So I think that because I'm trying to normalize it, now other people are doing it. I know there's fantastic companies like Women Who Weld and Weld Like a Girl and Girl with Grit, Latinas Welding Guild, all doing fantastic things like that. So those are like the people that I look up to. And I think that as more and more companies come out and own themselves as a woman in the welding industry, that I think we're going to have a little bit more normalcy. I don't think times have changed. I think they're kind of still same. It's just different because of social media.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's different because we have more access to it.
Well, no, I asked that from a male point of view because
Sure.
obviously
Well, and
we're not. It's going to be harder for us to recognize that, I think.
And I
that's why
appreciate
I
the
asked that.
question. You know why? Because I literally had a young student come into my shop, and she just graduated. And she's 19 years old, and she's still getting harassed, sexually harassed. You know, and I was like, are we still doing that these days? But yes, it's still happening. Whether or not we advertise it, nobody wants to talk about that, but I do.
Yeah,
we're trying to bring all those, the skeletons out of the closet.
Right.
So,
And it can be quiet stuff. It doesn't have to be in your
Sure.
face, but if someone's uncomfortable.
nobody wants to talk about that.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to talk
HR
about that,
doesn't wanna deal
regardless
with it.
of the
Right.
situation.
I mean, it's not a
right?
fireable offense, and no one wants to have, conflict. Like, nobody wants to deal with it. Conflict
Ignorance is
avoidance.
not bliss in my world, and unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of that because I'm a woman in the industry. So I rather tackle it and create more strong-willed females, women. Excuse me, I hate the word female. Who are going to create their own environment like I did. Like I'm teaching a student right now who's literally creating her own fabrication shop. And that's what we need to create the normalcy. More women in prominent positions.
Right.
So I think once that, that changes,
Yeah.
maybe we'll see a little bit more change, but I don't think there's change quite yet.
Do you think like maybe one or two things that you could point to where scaling this, which would help or accelerate that? I mean, is that what it is? It's key positions or decision makers or having that ownership on behalf of women? Is that?
Yeah, I think it's just more women need to be able to be in more prominent positions so that they're part of the decision making, and that myself, when I see another business owner, I immediately want to interview her because I want to celebrate her. And this was actually one of the things I talked to American Welding Society about it. I'm not the first woman to win a WEMCO award for the media, right?
No.
And I told them, I said, well, who was it? And he goes, it's this person and this person. I said, oh, that's fantastic. I didn't know. And I literally have my pulse on the industry for women. And I go, well, you didn't celebrate it. We didn't post about it. We didn't highlight it. And he said, you are right. And that's the problem, is because, and don't take offense to this, gentlemen, you guys are born with the gift of entitlement as a man, right? We celebrate you on a daily basis. Now, we only have once a month. Latinas have it once a week. Minorities even more marginalized once a day. I'm a woman every single day, and I want to be treated as such, So I'm trying to create a culture that does that as well.
Yeah.
I know, that's deep stuff, sorry.
No.
She just
look,
put you guys on blast.
Look.
That's the good stuff, man. It's the truth. It's the things that people don't want to talk about.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I can't complain.
I feel bad
question.
already.
I got no.
but
I mean, I haven't had to struggle too much, other
Right.
than We
you're so blessed.
We were talking about hot dogs earlier. I mean, I hadn't had a hot dog in about 6 months, but.
So
anyway,
what was it
that's
about
another
the industry
conversation.
that made you want to get into it?
Do what?
What was it about the industry that made you want to get into it?
Okay, so I have a real estate and investment background. I was really becoming a stockbroker, and I was in flipping homes, and I loved it. I mean, I made up to like $350,000 a year, right?
What was that? What time frame was that?
2006, 5, 6,
Wow,
7,
okay.
right back then.
Right before.
Sure. So, I mean, I bought my first home in 2002. 2, 3, 3, 4. So 4, maybe it was earlier. Back in the day, long time ago, guys. Okay. And I loved it. Money was great. But the one thing I didn't have under my belt was actually welding. And unfortunately, I had went through a life change. I went through a divorce. And I ended up walking into a fab shop. And I felt like I was at home. I was like, all the things like
what jumped out at you?
Yeah.
Okay, so all the cars. I've always been in some form of a car club. I
Okay.
grew up in Long Beach, SoCal area in California.
yeah.
So that culture was always there, and I always loved it. I strayed when I had children, and I was hustling to make money. And so when I walked in there, it was just something about the allure of the metal and the smell and working with your hands and watching the fabricator just do things effortlessly. And I wanted more of it. And I ended up dating him. So
I was about to say.
Oh, the allure. Wait,
this was
metal?
like 14 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's actually, that's him. He's my mentor. So he was actually my introduction into welding. And it was something I think that I hadn't had it. I felt included in the world, right? And I hadn't had that, especially as a young single mom.
Right.
And I had all of the stereotypes to me, even making massive money. You still are a young mom, and they look upon you. I think they looked at me as like I was a drug dealer or something. I was like, no, I'm hustling my butt off to do what I had to do. But when I walked into that fab shop, I was like, I am at home, and I was so happy. And I was able to take part in every aspect of the shop, from maintaining the welding machines, cutting the metal, every aspect. It took me like a year and a half before I even got to weld, right?
Really?
And then I co-owned the shop. So now I'm freaking owner, and I'm the boss. And I started training people. This is fantastic. I loved it. And I never left.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
So why is welding, you think, such a good path? To me, it sounds like a opportunity to do what you want,
Sure.
be more independent,
Sure.
make your own way. Why welding?
I think that there is a path for anybody in welding because there's so many different niche type jobs that you can gain through. Like my start was in automotive, right? Custom automotive fabrication. But then I went into big structural. I went into education, now business ownership. There's so many different aspects that you could take while you're in welding. I don't know why. I mean, I hate to say that cliche, it chose me, but I just haven't left. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different paths I've been able to, and so many more I'm going to take,
Yeah.
Like I just don't want to leave.
Right.
Oh God. Will you answer this? Oh no. Here.
You're getting phone calls?
Oh, this is my boyfriend.
They hear her.
He's on California time, so I don't want to
Let's get him on.
Does that sound Jose or? Oh, okay.
That's too funny.
Sorry.
No problem.
She's the
Answer
best.
it. Let's
Yeah,
have a conversation.
No. I don't want to answer it.
Yeah.
So are you still welding?
I am
Or-
welding. Yeah, absolutely. We actually had to do a massive install to come out here to pay for the trip. Yeah. I weld almost every single day. So I teach it 2 to 3 days a week. If I'm not working on a car doing some form of restoration, I'm teaching, and if not, we're doing some structural install. I mean, I have a massive facility, so I have to weld.
So how big is it?
Right.
5,000 square feet.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's certain days, because I'm still kind of a one-man show. Veronica comes in maybe 2 to 3 days a week, and then I just recently got an apprentice who comes in after hours.
Okay.
So she'll give me 2 hours of work, and I'll give her 2 hours of welding instruction.
Yeah.
And then I teach, usually on the weekends, bigger classes. But when I'm not doing that, I'm either building on a car, restoring it in some form, some restoration, some form of something.
Yeah.
Or building something, or creating something for somebody. So it's not a daily thing. Maybe 4 to 5 times a week I'm welding. But I have to do the business stuff. I got to go do the quotes. I have to do, on-site whatever. Just supplies for the shop. It's still new in the inception of the company. So one-man band, that's just the way it works right now. It's still beginning. I mean, we're only 6 months into the new facility. So, and I've taken on a lot. Like, it's insane, but I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a goal in terms of where you want to be, maybe
Sure,
in 3 to 5 years?
I'm trying to accredit the school within the next 2 years.
Okay.
Right? I have amazing sponsors right now. I may have even more after this past couple of days, so we'll keep you posted on that one. I would like to just have teaching facility. I don't want to work on the cars anymore.
Okay.
I do have a personal vehicle that's coming in right now. It's a 61 Corvair wagon that I would like to do a public. Should I talk about it? Okay. We're going to do a public chop. So we're going to chop it. We're going to do a two-door conversion, and then we're going to bag it, put custom suspension in it, and then we're putting a Lincoln welder into it.
Oh, wow.
When we already have the rendering, it's all public now. But yeah.
So could you show up on a job with that? If you had to do like a site erection?
Who the hell's going to tell me anything? I mean,
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Right.
Why not?
Maybe it's too
Yes.
nice. Maybe it might be
Yeah.
too nice to
Yeah.
show up.
You know, I haven't decided on the paint. I thought about the paint scheme, but obviously I don't want it to be so nice that I want
Right.
to get dirty, right?
Right.
But I definitely want it to be something that the ladies can get their hands on, because one of the things that they see when they come into the facility is all these really magnificent cars. And they're like, well, can we work on them? And I'm like, oh,
Right.
absolutely not. They're too expensive. Or
Right.
liability, you cannot. But my own vehicle,
Right.
absolutely. I would
Yeah.
teach restoration off the panel, go for it. I'm a welder. I can fix it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Now, customers we're billing, no, absolutely not. But on my own, a lot of women have actually said they want to get their hands on that. And that's like, oh my God, that's exactly what I wanted, right?
Right.
Let me get in there. Let me
Does
do
that sound
something.
familiar to you when you hear
yes,
that?
it's me,
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes. So we actually have the wagon. We made a place at the shop a couple weeks ago to put the wagon in. And then I just bought a two-door Corvair for the parts car for the chop. I got to get another one for the roof because we got to extend it.
How many vehicles will you end up kind of melding
It'll
into
be
one?
3.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be 3 Corvairs. But I know, and we just found it. And I was like, I'm leaving, as my boyfriend's like, I found it. I'm like, no, don't buy it yet. I got to bring it in, so I don't got nowhere to put it.
I was about to say, and you
Yeah.
have some in your shop already, right?
No, we haven't put
Okay,
it in. So
all
we're going to
right.
have 3
All right.
cars sitting
Okay,
at the
I thought
house.
you're still working on something.
Oh, no, we still have to bring it in. Like, this has basically occupied all my time just to get here. Just between life, business, and I had to coordinate so many people for this trip. People that are working with us, sponsoring us, sitting with us, just with AWS. So it's been huge. So now I'm like, yes, now I can work on my wagon. That's all I want, man. Oh my God, I know. It's the small things in life, but it's not. In 13 years, I've never actually had a finished project vehicle. So this will be it.
Oh, okay. Like
I've had 6
the
different...
one to go out on almost.
The one to actually live what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do is have women work on it. I want to travel with it. I want it to be sponsored by good companies that support women in the industry.
Yeah.
And that's happening.
So when you say women work on it, would these be the students or friends or?
I think the plan is right now that I want to do like a national chop. So I'll invite certain friends from all over the country to do a chop, like Gene Winfield does, or
That's kind of interesting.
Kent. He's out of, oh my God, Indiana? The guy that helped us with the Chevy chop? I think it's Indiana. I'm sorry if it's wrong.
U.S.
I know. Yeah, he's in the U.S. Anyhow, but what they do is they do a national chop, and you charge people. I don't know if I want to charge people. We'll see. I haven't
Yeah.
necessarily got the logistics around about it, but I want people to come in who have a little bit of experience to
Right.
help do the initial, and then women can come in and like do classes on it. You know what I mean? Because there's
Gotcha.
a lot of work. There's a lot of rust on it. There's gonna be a lot of work. So.
A lot of hands-on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's sheet metal, which is super, super hard, but that's how I learned. And a lot
Yeah.
of women have asked, like, can we do this or that? And I was like, I got just the project for you.
So is that a way you kind of approach your education in terms of just maybe the coupons, but also projects like that?
No, actually what I have something called Welding Than Wine and Welding Than Whiskey. And this was kind of my little like twist to get
Sounds
the
like a
women
hell
to
of a
come
song.
in. So I was looking for like one of those catchy type of like classes that could get women to come in because it's intimidating. You're going to come into a big shop.
Right.
You're going to think it's going to be like some old man, getting at you, and it's cars and they don't know anything about, well, it's woman run. And wine is fun. That's something, it's something normal for people.
Right.
And they come and they get a feasible thing that they're going to make, and then they're excited about it. So there's the momentum that they want to come back and do more classes.
Right.
And then I can kind of direct them into where do they want to go. Do they want to be professional welders? Do you want just, to be an artist? Do you want to, like, I have lady that comes in just to do a makerspace. She's like, oh no, you have all the equipment. I just want to make some scrap art and just borrow your stuff. Perfect. And then I have a lady who's building a restoration shop for Vespas. You know, she's like, you're going to teach me from the ground floor up because I know nothing. Sure. Whatever you need, you know. I didn't have direction. I just kind of like owned the shop and just evolved with it, right? So I'm going to help women find their direction so that they stay in the welding industry because that's what I want.
Yeah. You think they find that place?
Yeah.
Whereas they maybe wouldn't find it in a mixed class with
I mean,
people who are actually learning it for a career. Not that they're not doing it with you, but
the people locally are just basically pumping them out for agricultural, which is absolutely fine because we're in the agricultural center of the world, right?
Yeah,
sure.
And that's fine, but maybe that's not their niche. And I don't want to push that onto somebody if that's not what they want to do. You know what I mean? Like maybe you're supposed to be an engineer. Maybe you're supposed to be the next, artist. Maybe you're supposed to go in structural. I don't know, but I can introduce you to all of it, and we can figure it out for you, you know? So I wish I had that type of like direction for me. I think I kind of knew my plan and I evolved. Not everybody has that luxury, but I know where I'm going, you know what I mean?
When you consider yourself getting on that path, is that the moment in which you kind of like saw the cars, kind of knew that you wanted to kind of do that, met the right connection?
I honestly thought I was always just going to be building cars. I never thought I was going to be teaching.
Right, even before then.
And it's weird because we were just talking about this. The last time I talked to the fabricator, I remember I was just in college, and it was like, I'm going to teach. And the reason why is because I think because I'm a mother, you have that natural aptitude to show people the way, right? At least I did. And then I had a really poor experience in college, and I paid $20,000 for it, right? So I was like, this is not going to happen again.
Right.
So from then on, I just kind of evolved. I started offering classes at my own shop that I had in Arkansas. And it just kind of evolved that way. I just kind of went with it, you know what I mean? And then it came back to the automotive, which I like to include. Right. I don't necessarily want to stay there unless it's my own projects.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you see that, like, women see that just the basic introduction is harder, taking that first step, or is it continuing on after that?
Both. Yeah, both. I don't think there's very much access for women. You know, I think some people, because they're predisposed to it because of their parents or their brothers, not every woman has that, until they see some women, and sometimes some women, even if like a marginalized group, like you see some Latinas in a shop building on cars, they're like, hey, what are you doing over there? Yeah. And it maybe piques a curiosity they didn't necessarily have before. So who knows? I didn't know I was going to be in a welding shop. I thought I was going to be a stockbroker. You know what I mean?
So it's funny, you just to kind of paint the picture, but not paint the picture, but reinforce what you're saying. We were talking with somebody earlier this show, and he entered the welding shop where he was first learning to weld as the college boy.
Oh, sure.
And they froze him. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if a guy's getting that treatment, that.
Yeah. Imagine the woman.
Yeah, well, no, that's
and I was literally the shop girl, which is still my name now. I keep it to keep my ass humble. Yeah, absolutely. Because I literally was sweeping. I would sit outside of the shop, and then I would move my seat closer, and he'd be like, hand me the wrench. All right. Still in a dress and heels, because I was dating the owner, right? Mind you. And then I'd be like, well, what's that tool? What can I cut on this? Can I do that? And then I can't shop girl. I'm sweeping the floors. I'm maintaining the machine. So I was always like, the help, until one day I owned that bitch. Yeah. And I was training the people. Like, I mean, I was growing. It wasn't like I was.
How fast was that transition?
A year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a year and a half. I was a boss. I mean, I had my own business before with real estate flipping.
Right.
So it wasn't like I was a novice to anything. I'm very mechanically inclined, clearly. But, I never saw myself in that. I don't know.
So at what point did you want to introduce, like, education to that?
College.
Yeah?
College was awful. Yeah. And no, it truly was. You spend so much money on a fantastic education. I have a degree, It's not like I just went for the course or, a certificate. I wanted a better introduction. So with my introduction at the shop, it was basically, here's the MIG gun. No metallurgy, no science behind it, that's it. And so I took it upon myself to go to college to get that, and it was not what I had hoped for. They don't tell you that I went to school basically to learn how to TIG weld so I can create custom furniture and components for our chassis.
Yeah.
You're not told that you learn TIG at the very end of the 2 years, and they don't guide you.
Right.
And unfortunately, it seems like after I won Skills USA and I got all the certificates and I got, did everything first, I bypassed the curriculum, and I was so pissed off. I wanted more and more and more.
Yeah.
So after that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start teaching people in my own shop. You know?
So Skills USA, you
I won the gold.
yeah. What was that
Really?
project you were working on?
Yeah.
Okay, so Skills USA, that was, I mean, I didn't even have to do anything for that because I had been welding for so
Yeah.
long. They already wanted, I was just so mechanically inclined. They pushed me into that that project. It was 3 people for Skills USA. We won the gold on a state level. We didn't get to go to nationals.
Oh,
But that was super fun. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was the project you worked on?
It was a barbecue, but it was like one of the, what the heck are they called?
Like wood chipper or something like
No. We could it had a grill like a hibachi, and then it had a regular. So it had 2 different style grills on it.
Okay.
Right?
Dan's
But we had to,
our
like,
grill expert,
Yeah.
so
Oh, I don't know anything about them. I just built it by blueprints.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that's
a-
what the contest is, though, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was super fun.
Huh? Is that so? You've won that?
Yeah.
Any other awards we don't know
Yeah.
about?
Let me see. No, the Skills USA Gold. I've won this. Not yet.
Okay, all right. That's awesome.
I don't think I'm trying to think. No, but I have done magazine covers, lots of podcasts,
That's
just lots of
awesome.
cool stuff.
So
Yeah.
do you meeting connections with others in the manufacturing welding industry? Have you gone beyond that with other women-owned businesses, maybe in your local geographic area, or
Locally, not quite yet. I think I'm still busy
I was about
establishing
to say,
myself.
is that something that
It's still
necessarily is
new.
important?
Oh, it is absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, united bigger. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, absolutely. So I'm actually one of the marketing directors for Latinas Welding Guild out of Indiana. So not necessarily locally,
Right,
but
right.
partnering up with similar companies just to make a larger front to show more women in the industry.
So are companies reaching out to you
Both.
as they're searching for,
Yeah.
you know, they're looking for a connection
Opportunity.
to people who are interested in welding. I don't want to say young people. I
Yes,
don't want to say,
it's
you know,
all-
some
yeah.
skilled, but
Yeah, yeah.
they want people who want to work.
Yeah.
like building an
yeah.
outreach program, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and really,
Yeah.
the issue becomes is that there's no formal. I mean, you have Indeed.
I had
local,
107 searches for Welding Women Syndicate just yesterday
Yeah.
of like, who is she? What is she doing? Which is
Right.
fantastic, right? And it's directors, founders, owners, and that's exactly who I want to
Right.
look for us, right? So, I mean, what I really want is just other people to create this type of company.
Yeah.
You know, better opportunities for women, more introduction, more celebration, more showcasing. So a lot of people, maybe they don't necessarily reach out, but they definitely are watching.
Right.
Right? And you can see it. I mean, I watch the analytics.
Yeah.
So hopefully they create something too, but
That's awesome.
yeah.
It's worth pointing out this is the quietest it's been all
It's almost
so
quitting time.
fantastic.
That's why.
Yeah.
For
I
those
think
who
it's
don't,
lunchtime though, isn't it?
who aren't
Or
in
did
the
we
loop,
bypass? We had
it's,
coffee.
It's literally only about how many hours?
left.
2.5 more.
2.5
Yeah.
hours before FABTECH is done.
Yeah, go figure,
know.
right?
Yeah.
Closing on
Love
a
it.
high note, though, right?
There you go.
So you've
so
been-
you come to
Oh my God.
a show like this,
Yeah.
looking to make connections. Is that the main opportunity, as well as being honored?
Really no. We had like a set schedule with business meetings and interviews to do. Like I haven't even had time to do any of it.
Oh,
I
no
went to go
kidding.
see
Wow.
like people who have sponsored our shop and supported just to say hi and actually put a face to the Instagram
okay.
handle or the
Yeah.
business. We've not met in years and years. I at least want to hug you.
Right.
And then I gotta go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So really, I haven't had the opportunity to do so. Most networking I've done, it's already happening already.
Right.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? So.
Like kind of an old home week. Come
Well,
and check out
yeah,
everybody.
it's just kind of neat to see all the machines, to be quite honest. But this has all been business,
Yeah.
so not too much networking, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, it is the best. I mean, it's the perfect place. Everybody's right here.
Well,
Somewhat stationary for a
we
few
did have a
days, so-
fantastic evening last night. We did not expect that. I don't know if I can even talk about it. Okay, no, I probably cannot. Yeah, we
the
did.
Fabricator Podcast
Wow.
After Dark.
Yeah, no,
Man, I was
no,
about
no.
to say, if you have to censor yourself for our dopey podcast.
No, I had to sign a marketing release. So there's certain things that you know what I mean.
Oh.
Legal
When I
reason.
can't
I
talk
thought
about
like
is
there may
American
be like some
Welding
kind of animal
Society.
sacrifice or
No,
something
no,
going
no,
on.
no, it's a cult. We can't talk about our rituals. No. The thing I did have opportunity is at American Welding Society. So those people who were awarded the same award, obviously for their category, that was fantastic. These founders, these schools, these people who have had the longest, most rich history in welding knew my name. and thanked me for what I was doing, which is still blows my mind to say it. So that was amazing. I have everybody's card. I can't wait to be like, oh my God, I can't, thank you. I can't, whatever networking I can get from that. So that's basically what we did. After that, we're like to a dinner, to a meeting, to an interview. So, which is fantastic. We like the visibility.
That's awesome.
But networking, aside from stealing somebody's pen off their counter, really, we haven't done all the pens.
You're not supposed to show the crime.
You're training her well.
They're there.
We're giving them away. It's not stealing.
Right.
I know.
Any upcoming plans people should know about?
No. Well, I just want to work on my wagon right now. I just want to relax.
Is that relaxation for you?
That would be nice. I can't do that. You're a business owner. It's never gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay.
I will sleep in tomorrow. That's about it. But no, I have to schedule classes. I have a new schedule coming out, so that's one thing. Oh, I am actually speaking at a local high school, which is going to be super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
Is that a
and
first-time experience speaking at a high school?
That is a first-time
That is?
experience. So it's
Wow.
funny because it's a Salinas High School. So they actually rescheduled it because originally it was going to be the senior club, and they had reached out to me to after I did a newspaper publication, and so they found me. They emailed me. And they want me to talk to them, which is cool because it's like 3 miles from my house.
Oh, wow.
Right? And my boyfriend even attended the high school, which is super cool.
That's awesome.
And so that'll be neat. But now they want the agricultural department to come in and other people, so it's going to be a bigger situation. So they rescheduled, and I was like,
That's
"That's
good.
fantastic."
Wow.
You
So-
see more of that kind of occurring, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Now that I can actually, pick my head up and like work with the community, like it took a while to get the shop established, get your jobs established, get your money set. We're still in that, but now I'm like looking around like, hey, let me reach out to the community.
Okay.
So now it's happening a little bit more, and I have the time to do so.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
think it's good for not only probably local community, but just for the industry as well.
The industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think this encourages other people to do so too, to reach out to the local welding
Right.
shop and diversify the something. You don't see too many women in my position. I don't think there's any women who own shops in the local area. And so I'm hoping to start more of that so they can go to their local high schools, create this huge revolution of women doing this and then continue it. I don't want it to be a trend. I want you to be successful and want to create talented welders so that this is not just, something trendy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, where can we find you?
Oh, Welding Women Syndicate. You just look that up and everything pops up. That's all you have to put in Google.
She's got it
So my
locked down.
website,
Yeah.
my YouTubes, all the social media handles, that's what you find it off of.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And look under award winner.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So if you scan this, I know, I'm so upset about this. If you scan this right now, it goes to like the newspaper that I was in. I was like, no, I don't want that. It's so weird. They're like, newspaper? You got that? I'm like, that's fantastic.
What's
but
a
no,
newspaper?
Yeah.
Just, I know, newspaper. So
be
just
nice.
Welding Women Syndicate, that's all you have to do. And you can, whatever your delight is, it's from YouTube to LinkedIn. Like, I'm there. So
Gotcha.
it's super easy to find.
And you can find us wherever you download your favorite podcast. Subscribe, rate, review. Do that, and we'll be sure and send you something in the mail.
Yeah.
I want it too.
We'll sign you up for a newspaper subscription.
Or put your
It's a
name
free
in a
pin.
newspaper.
Very good.
In the
I still have
newspaper, I know.
connections. I can make that happen.
Is it actual paper?
So thanks for joining us, and bye-bye now.